Hello, I'm Don Foster and welcome to my home. Thank you for watching. We got a really wonderful project we're going to start to do. It's been needed done for a very, very long time. We're actually going to stain my faded concrete pavers. Been living in a historic house for over 20 years now, and we did the patio a long time ago, and we lost the color of the pavers, and the last 2 years has been kind of a honey-do list. I've been waiting for my honey to do it. I'm just kidding, no. It's honey-do list, we got to get it done. And we waited way too long, and I'm sure it's an eyesore for all the neighbors, which I feel bad about. But we got to prep it before we could stain it, right? So we're going to do it several phases. Phase one, we're going to remove all the weeds and rake up all the leaves and put them in the waste and get that taken care of. Stage two, we're going to clean the pavers, and the pavers really need cleaned, and they're going to have to get a lot of atmospheric dirt over the years, a lot of algae we got to kill, some of the growth. We're going to do all that, and we'll go through some of the steps how we do that. And then we're going to stain it. Basically, when we go to stain it, we've got a couple options. All the brick have been stained on the house about 17 years ago, and they're doing great. But now, do we stain the pavers to match the house, or do we come up with a whole new color scheme? And we actually stain the pavers what we really like, introduce some new colors, and then restain the brick on the house to match the pavers and complement each other. So it's something we got to think about, something I'm going to spend some time and talk to Peggy about and decide what we want to do. But the brick on the house were stained, I cannot imagine, it had to be over 15, 17 years ago. It's holding up great. What's beautiful about using a permanent stain that we did on the house, it'll never peel, crack, blister, or flake, it'll never fail. But what I could do is restain it again because the brick aren't sealed, they're still all breathable naturally. So I can change that color anytime I want. So we have a lot of decisions to make, and we'll be back in day two. But really, it's like day one because we absolutely got rained out yesterday. So the sun came out, it's beautiful today. We got the first phase done. We got everything swept up, cleaned up, pulled all the weeds, got the leaves all put away in the yard waste, and now we're ready to look to start cleaning the pavers. We're still trying to get them ready before we stain them. So we want to get rid of all that atmospheric dirt over the years and some of the algae and stuff that we need to kill to grow. So basically today, we're going to work with a mix of water, some bleach, a little bit of dishwasher soap, like a gallon of water, half a cup of bleach, and just about a quarter teaspoon of dishwashing soap. And we're going to try to agitate it and get it nice and clean. And we're going to do 3 locations. I got one on the pavers. We're going to do one over here that's on the pavers in the wall. And then actually we stained the block many years ago on the far off to the right as you're looking through the camera. We're going to do that spot. I just want to see if it has an effect on the stain that's been put there all those years ago. Found a product I'd rather use. I just couldn't get any in time for this project. It's called an oxygen bleach. I found it on Ask the Builder. And it's one of the things, I think his name is Tim Carter. I've seen him before over the time, and pretty smart guy, I like him. He again doesn't want to use pressure washers. I totally agree with them not to. They do too much damage. Pressure washers have too much power. It's like that old Tim the Toolman Taylor thing. You know, sometimes too much is really not good. So for us, we want to stay away from anything that's going to be too invasive. And I'd rather use a product like he has that's more of an oxygen bleach. I think it's a great product. I haven't got to try it, but later, I think it's called Stain Solver. Again, check out askthebuilder.com. He does really good job. So for us, we're going to try the plan I had, but I always share with everybody, time gives you more options, and I should have used more time to get me more options instead of the last minute trying to get it done. So bear with me. So anyhow, I normally like to pre-wet anything we go to clean, especially if it's acidic or acids, so the acid can stay on the surface, especially if you're doing a brick wall. But in this case, they're saying put it directly on. So I'm going to go with the experts what they say. I'm going to apply it directly on. I'm going to agitate it. Don't let it dry. And then we'll come back and see what it looks like when it has. So I'm just going to start it. Then we'll cut the tape. And then we'll come back after we've pre-wet, rinsed it off, and it dries and see what it did for us. Put the cleaner on. We've let it set for about 15 minutes. right now, so we're gonna go rinse it off. And the reason why we call it a test area, because we're gonna wait till it, after we rinse it, we'll wait till it dries. And then basically we wanna see the results, and if it's not quite what we want, we'll go back to another option. We'll go back to plan B. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it, wait till it dries, and we'll see what we do. And if it looks good, tomorrow then we're gonna go do the whole patio. We're back again, and why you do test areas is to make sure you're happy with them. And we did 3 test areas the last video, and you know, it just didn't come out that well. And I could tell you, I understand why so many want to use pressure washers. I've been tempted to use them myself. In fact, I've used pressure washers most of my life. So I know the good, but I also know the damage part that they can do. So depending on the tip you use, how close you get, you could actually etch the pavers by putting lines all through it. So I kind of want to avoid all that. If I do it, I might be able to be fine, but basically I was trying to find a way to do it without using a pressure washer. So what we've done is we got a new mix. And what I've done is we got a guy that's done a lot of pavers with us. I've talked to him back and forth. It's almost like a friend to me now. And he recommended 25% bleach. So I still use a little Dawn soap. I got 25% bleach. We're gonna do a test area here in a minute, and then let's see how well that works. We did a test area here that turned out, didn't do much. Over here we did. If you can see this scroll over here, it just didn't too much. And I left the tape to show the marking where this test area was here. It just did not do that much at all. So anyhow, let's go back and see what this does. The gentleman we're talking about, he's done his project in Illinois, and basically what we want to do is, he left it on for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to keep it saturated, I'm not going to let it dry, and in 15 minutes, I'm going to rinse and maybe repeat, we'll see. But we'll see if we get a better result than we did before. I'm just going to agitate a little bit, make sure it gets in all the nicks and grooves. And then let's see if that bleach does its work. And we'll just do this one test area right now. I'm not gonna mess with the others till I get a good result here. Then I could test in the other spots. Looks a little better than the last time when I finished with it, but we're gonna wait till it completely dries. The sun's moving off, so we should get some sun hopefully in this area. And we'll take a look and see, and if that's it, we'll go into production mode, see how we do. Thanks. Hello and welcome back. I'm Don Foster and welcome to my house. Actually, it's to my front yard patio. Faded concrete pavers, lost the color over the years. We're gonna try to not only restore the color, we're gonna actually change to a whole new color, a whole new look. But let's show you the setup as far as the workstation that I have. Basically, it's pretty simple. I've got the kit came in, the DIY kit, and this is everything that's in it. Comes out with a variety of colors. Some sky blue, some midnight for the black, a little fire for the red if I want to use it. Some suede, instructions, packet, and then a brush. Basically everything I need to do the staining, at least to work on some samples. And then I could order more colors, whatever I want to do after that. The things that didn't come that I added basically is a tablet and a pen to make some notes on. I have a little bit of water here, and I've got some blue paper towels. I'll show you what I do with those later on. But let's get into what the plan is. So what we could have done is I could have ordered the individual colors, but I wanted to have something unique and special just to us and what we do. It's our house, right? So I want to do something different. We're gonna eventually, these brick on the house, on the main house behind me, have been stained, I'm thinking, I'll have to look it up, but I think like 15 years ago. And it was a dark chocolate brown. We lightened up. And then we added some of this gray color. We'll try to get a close-up of that for you. What we want to do is we want to change all this to a more range of grays, introduce some new colors to the house. But we're going to do the pavers first and then stain the house to complement the pavers. But we want to try to hold on to this color or something like it if we can. Now, talking to my wife Peggy, she really wants to go darker. I would like to have a three-way blend. A medium gray, and then a little darker, a little smaller, or a little lighter. So think about, could I do, 40, 60, do two colors, or can I do, break it into thirds, the three colors? I'm really not locked into that. In fact, I could actually have a little more one color than the other, but basically the basic concept and the sizes are different. I'm gonna go with maybe a three-way blend, and we'll see how that works out. So that's kind of the goal. We'll see how we do. In the pavers, there's some big pieces and smaller pieces. I can actually choose the biggest piece here to be all one color and create a blend and a pattern throughout, or I can mix it up. So let's see, I'll go to work and let's work on some colors. So I've got a suggested color recipe. I'm gonna go make that here and I'll describe what it is. And I took a cap from around the tree because we're gonna replace that with something different, a different material, different cap that's around the tree in the courtyard. But basically it's gonna give me something to practice with. So if you ever have loose pieces, it's a great thing to use to practice with and get your color right. So when we set up the workstation, we actually set it up off where the landscaping is. I don't want to have it over the pavers I'm going to be work on in case we do a spill. There's nothing here that's going to hurt the landscape. But if I get it on the stain on the pavers that I don't want, that could actually stain the pavers a color that's not desirable. So basically we have it off this side out of the way. I do have other colors that we can work with if we want to add and introduce a different look to it too. I could add a little red. I've got a little yellow. I've got a little kind of a buff color that they have here. So there's a lot of other colors that we actually could use if I need to, but right now I'm basically just working with the blue, black, and white colors, the three that we have. Okay, we're ready to try our first mix. This starter kit basically comes with 6 colors. Right now I'm just gonna make my own gray with a combination of black and white. And we'll see what that comes out looks like. And I want to put a little bit of blue. So I've got a suggested starter recipe of 3 level teaspoons of the white color, half a teaspoon of the black, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the sky, the blue color. So we're gonna take a look and see what it comes up with. Just a half a cup. Three teaspoons. They're level. So we could remake the mix if we like it later, or we could add to it and change it as we want. We have it all wrote down. That's the advantage of writing it down. So it's a nice warm day. It's 86 degrees and sunny. I'm working in the shade because I'm an old man. I need to work in the shade, but we could have done this in the sun, so I'm okay with either. I've got a sample, and I just had Peggy come out and look at it, and she thinks we're good to go. Still like to maybe see something darker, another lighter version, but I want to actually put that on a few pavers and let it dry over a period of time. So it's only been about 5 minutes, but actually, we hit it the first time. The suggested starter recipe really worked. We're really pretty happy with it. So I'm going to go on and stain a few pavers with a mix. Then I'll show you how to rinse and clean the cup out. And then we're going to create a whole new mix. Stay with us. Following the instructions, it says to stir every time you dip the brush. Drain the brush really good on the side of the cup because you want to feed it in. You don't want to overstain it. And basically start at the corner. I can always restain over top of it later after it dries if I wanted to get darker. But we'll let that dry. I'll do a few more pieces and we'll see what we come up with. Hey, we're back, and we've got a test panel done. And I'd always recommend doing a test panel, get everybody a chance to see it and take a look at it. Just a few of the steps. Originally, this was the color I really liked, but a little bit too much blue and too dark. We lightened it a little bit, and they still thought no, so we took the blue out of the mix, remade the mix, and this has just basically got the white, which they call birch, and the black that they call midnight. That's all that that color is. And so we introduced that, and then Peggy really wanted to have a black color. So we just did basically 3 level teaspoons of black, and then we added a quarter of yellow to tint it a little bit. You can't see much difference, but it's a little bit, and that's what we did. And we're gonna stain these to have a little bit of range, not really completely cover the black, let the little bit of the background show through, but that's kind of the plan. We can always rehit them later if we want more coverage. So that's kind of the plan. We're gonna go with a two tone color right now, and then stain it all. It won't take us that long to do it all, and then we'll come back and reintroduce a third color if we wanna do that. We can set up another test panel, add a third color, let everybody see it, take a look at it. The color's close to what's the base color in the house that we want to keep. We eventually want to get rid of that chocolate brown color that you see in the walls too. So we're going to do all the pavers, do all the caps, and then we're going to hit, we'll do the walls. So that's kind of the plan, and then eventually go on to the house. So I hope this is helpful. We're going to really show you what it looks like to scatter. So we're scattering it first. It's a way to control color. I'll try to talk a little more about that later. But and we've just had rain the last few days. We had thunderstorms came in galore, soaked everything. The next day the sun comes out. I go to put my hands on the pavers. They're cool to the touch. That means there's moisture in the pavers. They're not a good time to stain. Waited to today. They're warm. I can put my hands on the pavers. They're drying out good, but it looks like we might have some more rain coming in later. So we'll see. We're still trying to get more done as best I can. So Peggy and I decided, as we scattered some colors out and we looked at the test panel, they would like to go a little different direction. So what we've done is we created a brand new panel. Here's our new test panel that's been approved by Peggy and I. We love this medium gray color. That's now going to be the majority of the color, and eventually we're going to introduce that to the house. We talk about that later. We did such a good job scattering colors that these colors are scattered in this proportion throughout the patio. We're okay. We also have some tape on pavers that we are not going to stain. The reason we're going to do that to be able to show you that you don't have to stain 100% of the pavers. If you like some of that color, you want to leave some, it could be there. It'll keep costs down, less work and less staining. But what we're going to do is we'll take pictures when it's done, and then we're going to come back and decide, do we like to leave these colors in here? And we pick the darker one out of the range that we like. Or do we want more of the medium gray, more of the light gray, or more of the darks? We can decide that ourselves and what we want to do. So it's really flexible. The process is extremely flexible. So we can do anything we want to do as we go later. If this is still light and a little too much blue for Peggy, we could tint that just a little darker shade if she wants in the blend to see. But right now it's growing on her. It's really trying to match that one color of the house, and then we get rid of that old chocolate brown color later, that the orangey brown that we don't like. We can get rid of that later, but that's it for another time, another story. We're in the final phase of the paver staining project, and you can see where we left some blue tape on some pavers. Those are unstained pavers, is what those are. So we're going to pull the tapes and decide, do we want to leave that naturally unstained and part of the range and color scheme? Or do we want to fill those in with one of the 3 choices, medium gray, the blacks, or the light bluish gray color? We can decide then what we want to do. If we remember, we recreated the test panel off to my left. It'd be your right as you're looking at it was there. We pulled up the blue tape, and then we expanded that theme all the way through, and that's what you see it looks like as of right now. So stick around. We're going to pull the blue tape off, make a decision what to do, and we'll tell you what we decided. The final phase is done. We're all done with the paver staining. The last we showed you is we had the blue tapes. We pulled the blue tapes in, and then we decided, do we leave it? We decided that we wanted to stain it, fill in the spots, give a little better balance, not so much range. So we decided to fill them all in with the medium gray color. and we love it. We're really happy. Not 100% dry yet. We just finished right now, but basically I can walk on most of it. It dries pretty quickly. What a fun and exciting project to do. We're really happy. We're pleased with the look. Again, we just want to tell you how much we appreciate it. Thank you for watching. If you want to know more and want to watch later, we're actually going to work on the retaining walls. We're going to work on the caps. We're going to do the landscaping, and then we're going to start changing the colors of the house to more complement the pavers. If you're interested, stay tuned for more. So basically, I don't know if you can see it. You can smell it, it's just very faint, like a dirt smell. Of course, there are pigments around the ground, but stirred up nice, seeping on. It's not a paint, it's translucent. Never peel, crack, flake, or blister because it doesn't create a layer like the paint does to do that. So it's gravity to do a paver, so you drain real good. And basically, I'm just going to do a little swatch. We're going to let that dry,